Hey Oak Knoll, it's Kim Bergen-Jackson, administrator here at Oak Knoll, and I'm taping today on July 27th. Steve is on a boat somewhere in the ocean around Alaska. So good for him. I hope he has a good time, and I hope nobody's seasick on this great adventure. This recording will be put up on the 28th for your viewing pleasure. So I'm back. I went to a wedding in St. Louis, and before that I went to North Carolina, and North Carolina is a horrible place to be in the summer. 98% humidity. I don't know if I've complained enough about that yet. And 98 degrees. So it was kind of like sitting in an armpit, I imagine, somewhere. It looks beautiful. It was not, in fact, beautiful. COVID update for today. Some good and some bad news. So let's go with the good news first. We haven't had any new cases of COVID for a week, which is great. So we have 2 residents recovering in the health center. One has, there were 3. One has recovered and come out of isolation and is very happy about that. 2 remaining people will be out of isolation tomorrow and Sunday. So as of Sunday, we will have nobody in the health center with COVID, which is great. We tested all the residents yesterday and the staff who could have possibly been exposed, and no one was positive yesterday. So if we make it another week with no new positive cases in the health center, we will come out of outbreak testing, which is always great. It's so stressful. There are no COVID cases in assisted living, and there are 3 COVID cases in independent living, 1 at One University Place, 1 at the main campus, and 1 at the East Campus. And so we're spreading the love. None of our cases are connected as far as I can tell, which is good. COVID numbers are up exponentially just everywhere. Johnson County is seeing about 65 cases per day. So it's consistently higher than I would like. There are more people hospitalized right now than have been. There are 26 people hospitalized with COVID at UIHC, 20 adults and 6 children. I never like to see any of the kiddos admitted with it, but it is higher than it has been recently. It is not, however, the highest we've ever seen it. So you have to take everything sort of knowing that we're in a different situation than we were in when this first started. So everyone at Oak Knoll is vaccinated. A great number of you, if not all of us, are boosted at least once, and there are several of us, a large handful actually, of people who are compromised who have gotten the second booster. There is word on the periphery of the news that Pfizer and Moderna are working on a fall vaccine. That's not 100% sure yet, but I think they're trying to roll it into the influenza clinics so that you'd get a COVID vaccine booster and a flu shot at the same time. Don't hold me to that, but I think that's what they're trying to do, and they are adjusting the vaccine to add a little bit more oomph to kick this current variant, this B.5 or 2.5. What I would say is that everyone I've been around who has been positive has been mildly to moderately symptomatic. Some people, the ones who have been moderately ill, have elected to receive the monoclonal antibodies, whether that's the infusion at Iowa River Landing or the oral medication, which is Paxlovid. So there seems to be ample supply for the antibody treatments if that's something that you're interested in and you find yourself to be COVID positive. But I would just remember that we're not experiencing the same illness that the rest of the country did earlier, even, well, it's almost 3 years, so 30 months, I think. But it's a different game now. Maybe someday it will be endemic and it'll be just like the flu and we can stop all of the masking, but not yet. So I'm going to continue to encourage the staff wear masks inside. I would recommend that you wear a mask if you find yourself in a situation where you don't know where people have been. For instance, the grocery store, or if you're going out to a restaurant until you get seated at your table. I would just continue to be cautious. Having said that, I know you're ready to live your lives, and we have ample testing supplies if you become symptomatic and you think you may have been exposed. So sore throat, cough, low-grade fever, cold symptoms. If you feel funny in any way, you should let the apartment nurse know. You can also continue to order those at-home tests through the State Hygienic Lab, and then you could test yourself whenever you want to. The most common factor, I think, in all of the positivities has been travel. So people who've been out of state or out of the country have experienced some positivity. So wear your mask if you're traveling, even though you'll be the only one probably. I did actually get yelled at in Charlotte, North Carolina for wearing a mask. That's the first time anybody has ever said anything to me this whole time about wearing a mask. But about 1 in 30 people in the Charlotte airport had their masks on. So a couple of aggressive people decided to mess with me. So fight against all that peer pressure and wear your masks when you're out in public, because we're all depending on each other at this point to stay safe. I do believe we're safe here. Everybody's been very good about noticing if they possibly had an exposure or have new symptoms. So please eat in the dining rooms. It's still safe. Go to the events and be rest assured that if there's a risk involved, we're going to shut it down again. I'm always thinking about that. I'm still in contact with Public Health, Johnson County every week, and the state Public Health once a month. So still very active and paying attention, but trying to de-escalate it just a little bit. I did have the pleasure today of talking to somebody. I just want to end on a good note. So I'm going to let you know that, as you know, we belong to Leading Age Iowa, and that is our trade association for nonprofit providers of senior living services. So not just residential services, but also like home and community-based services and hospice and adult day health and just the whole spectrum. Every year around the fall conference, they ask us to nominate people for awards. I've been a recipient of one of their awards. We've had a number of people receive awards here, and this year they created a new award called the Leading Life Award, and this award was specifically for a resident. They've never had a resident award before. So I reached out to the leadership team. We decided who we would want to nominate because you're all awesome and amazing. It was hard to pick, but we did pick Rhoda Vernon. If you don't know Rhoda Vernon, I would encourage you to get to know her. She's awesome and amazing, and she's also the recipient of the Leading Age Iowa 2022 Leading Life Award. So I got to tell her today with her kids and her grandkids and her great-grandkids on Zoom. And Kim Herring was with me, and Chrissy and Lindsay, and we had somebody here from KCRG. So I believe it's going to be on the news. But she was surprised because I lied to her, told her, I need your help on a presentation. That was not true. So if you see Rhoda, she very humbly doesn't think she's qualified to be awesome, but she is incredible and spends a lot of time meeting with students for us and helping people learn that aging is not something to be afraid of, and it could be something that's cool and incredible. And she's a big supporter of all the staff around here, and if you know her as your friend, you know you have a great friend. So congratulations to Rhoda. She will hate me talking about it on the video. It's my pleasure to serve. Call me if you have any questions, but I will see you again in 2 weeks. So have a great week. Thanks for tuning in. Take care.